Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to be going over coloration, and this is saturation, overdrive, amplifiers, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to do something first. We're going to add an oscilloscope or a signal analyzer. So this is a signal analyzer, and what this does is analyzes your signal. We're going to use so this is a sine wave. I'm going to use a sine wave to show. I'm actually going to duplicate this. I encourage you to give this a try. You can get it for free at rsmat.com, and I'll have one for signal and then one for spectrum. Alright, so the top one is your signal, the bottom one is your spectrum. Right, so this is a sine wave. So this kind of dives in from EQs, the EQ section, and as we go up in pitch, the fundamental, which is, you know, with a sine wave there's only one fundamental, it goes up our spectrum here, and that is our note pitch, whatever, right? So we have this. So I'm gonna get rid of these. Right. So we have a sine. This is the purest tone you can get. I'm gonna show you one of our first. Well, it's a combination. All right. So we have our amplifier, and what the amplifier does is it's just like a guitar amplifier. So if you have a guitar and it goes through an amp, you have these rich harmonics that kind of come through, and it adds to the sound, distorted sound of your electric guitar. It's made by Softtube, and these guys don't mess around. So we have our sine wave. I'm going to increase the wet dry. See, harmonics starting to poke through. All right, this is something that has it only has one harmonic, and all these harmonics are being added. This is coloration of the sound. This is electric guitars from the 50s all the way to electro bass lines today, talking bass. Everything uses coloration effects, and they're very useful. And there's different kinds. And, you know, some are modeled, some are futuristic, some are multi-band, some are single band, some are crazy. So yeah, let's get going. And you'll notice that the sine wave is changing shape. It's actually getting bigger. Right, we'll see that. And there's different types of amps. We have a clean one, quote unquote clean. All those harmonics there, boost. Right, so we effectively turned a sine wave into a, you know, jiggity jaggedy something or other with lots of harmonics. Those are partials, they're really fun. And yeah, this is just an intro to your saturation and your coloration. Blues again, we got rock, this is a bit more hard. We have a square wave now and lots of harmonics. Holy crap, we got lots of harmonics. Lead, aggressive harmonics, heavy. And I love that, look at that. That's just a sine wave. So if this does this to a sine wave, what do you think it does with, say, a square wave, a saw wave, something else you've cooked up? Adds a lot of fun stuff. And this is how you get those really big basses. And of course, bass. It's more attenuative of bass sounds. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to go over a lot of these. This might be a little bit too much to start off. Oh, actually, I had to put that back down there. All right, so we have our amplifier. And usually the amplifier head will sit on top of a cabinet, and there's cabinets modeled. So this is the speaker cabinet, and this will give you an authentic kind of guitar tone. So if you ran an electric guitar output, which I have over there, you can get, you know, convincing electric guitar sounds. Right, so we have different speaker types. So 2 12 inches, 4 12 inches, 4 10 inches, and then we have one for bass. Right, and we can select if the microphone is directly in front of the speaker, far away from it, or directly in front and off to the side. These are traditional mic placement kind of techniques. And we have condenser and dynamic mics. So a condenser has power to it. It's kind of what I'm talking into right now. And a dynamic is more of like a microphone you see bands singing into. They're two different kinds of microphones, and they have a different kind of timbre. But this is a sine wave. If I was actually playing, you know, an electric guitar, it would sound a lot better. All right, that is these two should be used in series. So I'll just show you what it sounds like without it. Right, should be used in series. and that is your amplifier and your cabinet plugin. All right, so we have dynamic tube. So tube is where is it? There it goes. This is kind of a tube distortion emulation. We have drive, and tube is a lot less reactive, and it acts on transients, and we're not into transients yet, but you know, we can. It's kind of like non-linear, right? So we have our tube. It's shaping and adding some nice upper harmonics. And we have different tube modes. Yeah, A, B, and C, different tube modes. Some are cleaner than others. This is just another way of saturation. Tubes are those things that glow, and you know, they don't make them anymore really, but they're quite sought after. But they are in here, and they're useful for transient material, which we're going to get into a little bit later. Erosion. Now, this kind of, I don't know, erodes the signal, but at a certain band. It does that. So this is more of a Redux. So what this does, it basically adds a noise floor, and I can't necessarily explain it right now. So it emulates, you know, faulty gear. That's why it's called erosion. Different coloration effects. Use them in series, and you get a really nice sound. Okay, overdrive. We all know this one. This is what you would run like a guitar pedal through. So this is a band selectable. So if we have, you know, we have our low end bass here, but if we only want to overdrive the upper harmonics, we'd set our filter. This is just like a filter to the top, so we only get the top harmonics. But if we wanted to like overdrive just the bottom for, you know, richer material, we can select, you know, a particular band we want to overdrive, and overdriving this gives it a lot of harmonics, which is really nice. And tone is color. Tone is post distortion you control. There you go. You can see what we're doing just to a simple sine wave, and wet dry you can mix it. Right. Those harmonics are nice. A richer sound, a fatter sound, they say. The next one is Redux. So this doesn't necessarily distort anything. So what you have is time this way. Every second there's 44.1 thousand slices. Oops. Yeah, slices in here. So that's the resolution of your audio, right? That is a sample rate. So 44,000 times, we'll say 44,000 times per second. When you're recording something, it takes a picture, and that is your sample rate. CD is at 44,000. All right. So your bit depth is it controls amplitude. So sample rate is time. Bit reduction, or bit depth is the dynamics. So we did it. Hold on, we did the math. The heck, Mariah Carey, what are you doing? So let's see. Yeah, there's for values for amplitude, there's 65,535 potential values when using 64-bit, right? So if you reduce that, you get, you know, lower dynamics of like what your sine wave is. So you'll see, so we'll turn bit reduction on, and the trick is to look at the sine wave. Right now it's smooth, and as we bring it down, we'll see stepping. Right, 5-bit. So there's not a whole lot of possible like on off. 1 bit would be light on, light off. So this would be this would invariably be a square wave. right? Square wave, it can either be on or off, and when you have a sine wave into a square wave, you can't have in between on and off. So 1 bit would be a square wave, and it sounds rather intense. Right, so this is, you know, used in a lot of music, and it's the bit reduction. And what this does is this emulates old gear that didn't have the super high resolutions we have now. All right, so we have our sample rate. This is a little bit different. This is, it shrinks, it's like an image. You shrink the resolution of your monitor, and you get like jaggies and stuff, you know. So this is, it just samples everything down. There's 2 modes, soft or hard. We see the step. So the resolution is reduced to steps. The resolution, it can't, you know, distinguish, because this was a perfect sine wave before, but it can't like distinguish the in-between of these steps, so it just creates steps because it's stupid, basically, right? So soft and hard, and this is just another way to colorize things. I will not say soft or hard ever again. And you'll see it creates interesting upper harmonics. Hooray! Certain samplers were like 22K or 16K, and you know, that's how you get that sound from those classic MPCs. And that's that. Saturator. I like, Saturator. This is kind of like how they would boost like a kick drum through the old Mackie console to get gabber. This is a little bit different than Overdrive. This is kind of like pushing a channel, and it like kind of reacting, and it's not able to output what it's taking in, so it freaks out and it starts to clip. But it's not, you know, digital clipping. So digital clipping is just hard. Digital clipping, it can't go above this point. The sine wave, it can't go above that point, so it just cuts it off. And there's different clipping modes. So analog clip, it's a lot more forgiving. And yeah, there's different kind of wave shapes. You see that it creates harmonics. You want harmonics. There's, you know, hard curve. Different things. You really hear it with different timbres and synth sounds and stuff like that. All right, that's Saturator. One more. Vinyl distortion. So this emulates. So say if you know, back in the day, you sampled something off vinyl and you had like crackles in it. You know, and the needle was dirty or the record was scratchy. This emulates that. We even have crackle. Very loud crackle. It's for all the Burial fans. But still, it adds harmonics. Subtly. So tracing, I would figure this as like your digital analog conversion, or your needle is blah. And pinch is more of a hum. I'm not really sure. I should have done some research. Anyway, yeah, that is Coloration, and I hope that's good, and I hope I explained it well, and I hope you get your signal analyzer, drop in a sine wave, drop down here, and you figure out what's going on. We will be back with some more fun stuff, so hold on to your hats.